Ching ching ching! Let me hear them dollar ring. Hello and namaste and welcome to MOM Square, Money on My Mind. I'm Vivek Shetty, an engineer by profession and an investor by addiction. If you and I share the same addiction, we are on the right page. Yes, we are on the right YouTube page. And while you're there, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon. Okay guys, today we are here to talk about my favorite stock, CCIV / Lucid Motors. I call it my favorite stock because it lines up with my investing style. I only invest in stocks that I thoroughly believe in technology, their management, the service, and the long-term future or the growth of potential for that particular company. And CCIV strikes those boxes, all those boxes for me, like a check strike, okay? And hence, it's turned into my favorite stock, okay? Today's video is to talk about the bull case and the bear case for CCIV, and I'm going to make a recommendation for CCIV for your investment or trading. However, you got to note, I'm not an investment advisor. I do these videos to share my research, share my knowledge with regards to a particular company, a stock or housing, whatever it is, or market in general, so that you are more aware and educated about these topics and do your own research as well before you make any investment decisions, okay? That's a disclosure there. Okay, so let's jump right into it. As you guys know, CCIV DA was announced back in February, okay? They announced that they are merging with, or they're acquiring 20%. There was a reverse merger with Lucid, 20% share at a valuation of around $24 billion. Okay, that was huge, technically speaking. However, the market did not like the news when this whole announcement happened because they were thinking the valuation is going to be somewhere around 80 billion. They were trading just before the DA was announced. It was trading as a crazy valuation. Okay, unrealistic. But we all have done mistakes. I was invested in CCIV way before the rumors even started. So I had warrants at around $1.20. I sold it at around 38 bucks. But unfortunately bought back into it right before the DA for a small push. I thought I'll do a quick trade and gain money there. So I bought back into the regular common stock for CCIV, and obviously, needless to say, I've been losing quite a bit, but I've been averaging since, so not too worried about the long-term, prospect for the stock. Okay, let's jump into the bull case. Okay, we talked about how CCIV merger happened. This merger brought in $4.5 billion for Lucid Motors, which in my opinion is a good pile of cash to sit on for a startup-like company, okay? This is more than a startup company when you compare it to other EV, that went public this year or last year, because they have a manufacturing facility already invested in by Saudis and built, and right now they are building production trial runs on those lines, okay? In Arizona, they put this factory in Arizona. So that's a couple steps ahead of other players, in my opinion, where they're not even ready with the plant and whatnot. These guys are ready with the plant, and they will be going in production and maybe selling their first vehicle before the end of this year. They said the second half of the year, so it should be coming anytime soon, hopefully. So that's good. Other than the 4.5 billion and having a plant, I think the bigger financial leverage or the bigger financial advantage that CCIV has is in the form of Saudi Investment Fund, okay, the PIF, which is huge because first of all, they have 62% ownership to CCIV or in CCIV, and they have an agreement for Lucid to put a plant in Saudi. I don't have a timeline for when they plan to do that, but there's talks about doing it and so forth. So it means one thing, right? It's like a marriage right now between the Saudi Investment Fund and the Lucid, which is good financial stability or good financial backing to have for future growth opportunities. Okay, CCIV has been investing tons of money across the nation, putting, call it dealership or call it showrooms, um, for showing case or showing off, or not showing off, or showing their vehicles, okay, for sales, obviously sales source. So that 4.5 billion is obviously being tapped into already, I bet. But it's money well spent. You have to have a sales network, okay. Um, so that's on the financial side of things. Now I can't talk much about the sales and whatnot because they don't have sales yet. They're priced well. I know their margins will look good. That's why they start with most of these OEMs like Tesla starts with luxury vehicles. So I do believe they will have good margins. That's the financial aspect of the bull case. Now I'm going to talk about the technology, my favorite topic, being an engineer. I don't want to geek you guys out with any of this information, so I'm going to keep it on the surface, very high level kind of information. Okay, I'm a huge fan about their powertrain system. Okay, when it comes to technology, they got the skeleton board framework, which is low profile and provides that extra spacious kind of feel inside the car when you sit inside the car. Then they also got the electric motor, which I've read a lot about, and every time I read more about it from the technical standpoint, I am in love with the technology, and I can see why this could be a huge leap for them when you compare it to other OEMs. It's funny how I use the word leap because that's what Lucid calls this, Lucid Electric Advanced Platform. Okay, the electric motor. Going back to the electric motor, what I like about it is that a high power. It's like roughly 1080 horsepower. Okay, in a small size, in a compact size, lightweight. Okay, they're roughly 2.5 times smaller than the other electric motors in the EV market at current state. The power is roughly 59% more powerful than other electric motors, which is huge, right? And they're also 45% lighter. I mean, so you got a powerful motor, you got a lighter motor, and you got a compact size-wise electric motor. What does that mean? Okay, one, it costs less to make it, or costs less in general, not to make it, and it provides extra space for the remainder of the components, or provides extra room, and that lightweight helps on the power draw for your battery, which means longer range. Speaking about range, we're going to talk about the battery. The batteries, first of all, Lucid has been in the business for making batteries or developing battery technology since 2014. They were originally Ativa, named as Ativa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But they have been making batteries for high performance EV race vehicles. Okay, their charging is also something that's commendable. That's 20-minute charging to get a 300-mile range. Now, the batteries are capable, or the vehicle is capable of riding 500 miles, which is great in my opinion compared to many other EV cars out there. So 20 minutes for 300-mile range. Basically, I think if you charge for 1 minute, you get 20-mile range if you're in a hurry, right? So it's pretty good in that sense. They're ultra-fast 900V charging system, so that's what makes it so quick. There's roughly around 2,400 charging stations, okay, across the nation. They have networked with, I forget the American Fast, or I forget the word there, that they've partnered with for their battery charging. They are going to be bi-directional charging capable. What does that mean is you can not only charge the battery for your vehicle, but in times of crisis or when your house needs to draw energy back, it could start drawing. Your car acts like a generator, in short. Okay, so huge, right? So again, technology-wise, I'm very hyped about Lucid, and I believe that's the strongest thing about the stock that makes me invest in them. Okay, now let's talk about the bull case. Okay, so we got the financial, we got the technology. And actually, maybe before we jump into the bear case, I want to also talk about the other factors, the market factor, right? We talked the finances, we talked about the technology, the market segment. The EV market segment is slated to grow because they got that's like a $5 trillion market, okay? And if you put things in perspective, at current state, it's nowhere close to being fully, industrial or fully capitalized yet, okay? Obviously, I'm not saying that EVs are going to be a thing within a year. No, it's going to take some time. I do think in the next 3 to 5 year term, a lot of vehicles around you in the on highway and off highway are going to be electrified. I'm an engineer as well, so as I've said before, we work on cooling products for EV segment as well. So I've been watching that segment, the entire segment, closely. Okay, so the market segment has huge potential to grow. Okay, and in the short term, there are some factors that makes a bull case for CCIV. It's the short interest. I hate to say this. I mean, it has a short interest of 20%. Okay, right now, approximately 20%. Which, as we all know, at current day and age, with Reddit users, it only means one thing: short squeeze. So I do think that there could be a potential short squeeze coming for Lucid or CCIV in this case. Now, the other major factor that's already showing an impact on the price is its comparison to Rivian's valuation. Now, Rivian is supposedly going public, or will be IPOing in September timeframe at a valuation of $70 billion. Now, as soon as that happened, everybody started comparing CCIV's valuation and said, you know what, it's underpriced. So the prices went up from 18 to 25, 26 bucks. Okay, so those are the short-term factors for the bull case. Now let's talk about the bear case. Okay, the bear case is I think I mentioned this as a bull case as well, but the bear case is, we all know that the Saudis hold 62% of Lucid, okay, and they want a plant in their region because they want to diversify and just not be so reliant on the gas income, okay, or economy. What that does is there's a big unknown of what cost would it carry to put a full-blown production plant in Saudi for Lucid. Okay, I might make a separate video for it to evaluate what the cost should be. To put things in perspective, it cost around $1 billion to put a plant here in Arizona. Saudi doesn't have a lot of manufacturing footprint, so I do think the bills are going to be steep to put a similar plant in Saudi. Okay, so that means it's going to draw money from it and put it there. Again, though, the sales would be also added as a result of that. So it's pulling money from your cash reserve and whatnot, but a huge capital spend. However, there will be future sales coming. So you can maybe it's a wash, but I do, for the short term, it will be a bear case. Okay. So, and the other major factor that I think could be a bear case for CCIV is the operational hiccups. Okay, we all know building anything, okay, at a production in a production environment is not that easy. It takes discipline, it takes experience. Though Lucid has those experience in the form of leadership, I don't know how it's gonna show or reflect right off the bat, right? I do expect a lot of operational hiccups in the first year or two till they understand and streamline their processes. Okay, that's a very basic thing that happens in every manufacturing environment. So there's that happening. The supply chain obviously has been pressurized due to the market in general with COVID and whatnot. So that should reflect. That's one of the reasons why Lucid, I believe, moved the date for their first vehicle to be delivered. I think it was spring of this year, but they went and said it's going to be later this year or second half of this year. So they were obviously delayed, and I think there could be additional delays, or maybe they just are able to sell fewer vehicles this year. Okay, so that's the bear case from. The other major factor, or major factor for the long term, around 3 years time frame, is the fad fading. The EV fad will be fading, in my opinion. Companies are trading at a crazy high valuation. Take Rivian, for instance, coming in at 70 billion valuation, if that's really going to be the case. It's comparable to Ford's 62 billion valuation, okay, or market size right now, which is crazy to think or imagine, because Ford's last year or 2020 sales, which is lower than 2019, was at $127 billion. Now, for Rivian to develop or generate that much revenue, they would have to sell, what was it, 1.22 billion? Oh, sorry, what was it? No, 1.27 million cars. 1.27 million cars. That's a lot, right? I mean, that's years out, okay? So it's crazy. They're trading at a higher valuation because there's a lot of emotional based trading happening, right? Thinking about the future growth and sales and whatnot about this company. If you put it in perspective, intrinsic value, I think all these EV stocks are overpriced right now, okay? So that fad will fade away when the EV market segment, or EV car vehicles or electric vehicles start to take a major share in the automotive industry, right? Then it will become into a normal, the regular norm. And when that happens, the stock price start to tame and come back to normal. And that will happen with Tesla and everybody else, in my opinion. People compare Lucid to Tesla in terms of growth. Oh, we'll get that kind of growth. I don't believe so. I think Tesla went public when 2010 at $17. That was definitely early in the game. It took 10 years to become a thing, 9 to 10 years to become a thing. Now it's become a thing. It will get in. It doesn't take much time for followers, right? There's so many other EVs. I call Lucid to be a follower as well, because they copied everything in terms of the manufacturing footprint, the sales network, and they have set it similarly, in my opinion. So anyways, so that's your bull and bear case for Lucid. So what would I be doing, right? First of all, I wouldn't suggest anybody buying into CCIV at current state, at current prices, at $25. I would definitely say I would be adding stocks at around $17 and $18. Anything under that, I'll keep piling up more stocks. At current state, I hold around 1,400 or 1,500 warrants and around 800 stocks for CCIV. I do plan to convert those warrants as well. Now, I might do a small term trade here. Depends on how those factors and how quickly the jump happens. If there's unrealistic or emotional based stock price increase that will shoot up, may it be Reddit users doing a short squeeze, or may the Rivian situation happen with the with the valuation, or confirming the valuation and going public and whatnot. If there is any spontaneous or quick shoot up in price, I will be booking my profits, okay? Because in my other video, I talked about I'm expecting a market crash, and I do expect that to come. And with that, everything else gets drawn down, and CCIV will obviously be one of them, right? So all these overpriced or high valuation companies draw down faster when the market crash happens. So because I expect the market crash, I do not plan on holding CCIV for a long term right now, like my current holdings. I will be booking my profits, then buying back into it under $18 or so. Okay, so that's all my friends. If you like the video, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. And if there's any feedback for me, leave it in the comment section. If you have any questions with regards to the technology or additional details about CCIV, what I think about it, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll answer it in a timely fashion. Adios.